Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Fool's Journey, Archetypal Pathways on the Road to Individuation. And it's an overview of the journey that the archetypal fool, the Tarot, makes, coming back home to the journey leading back to wholeness. So to begin, I'm going to take us through a meditation, beautiful meditation by Stephen Huller from his book, The Fool's Pilgrimage, Meditations on the Tarot. And this is a portion of that. I recognize myself as an essence without form, without qualities and limitations. I am all in all. I am no thing, but I am present in all things. I am the terminal of all and the first ordination of beginning. I was and was not. I am and am not. I shall be, yet I am utterly without a future. I am circle with its center everywhere and its circumference nowhere. Childlike and ancient, young and old, new and aged am I. I am all, and the not. I am free. So I am, and was, and shall be, without being, and in non-being, within time, and out of time, ever and never. So that's the beginning. This is a quote from William Blake. If the fool would persist in his folly, he would become wise. So the fool is an image of who we all are. The innocent, the beginner's mind, the one who makes the journey, the trickster in some cases. So typical of the fool and typical of all of us when we are young, fools rush in where angels fear to tread, as Alexander Pope noted. Fortunately, we don't know where we're going when we begin our journey, or we might not take that step. And as we noted, let's go back for a moment to the image of the fool. He's about to step off of this precipice. He's very optimistic. He has his little white dog, perhaps representing his instinct to remind him to pay attention to where he's going. He doesn't seem to be paying attention, however. The sun is shining on him. He has a small pack, not much, and the white rose for purity and innocence. Now, in the Tarot, we notice a couple of things that are significant. One is that his sleeves seem to be the image of fire. And fire is an image in Tarot that speaks of the beginning, of the first spark. So he's carrying the fire of life, and he is also carrying the wheels on his shirt, which might intimate the wheels of fortune. And he's about to begin his journey. Note that his number is 0, and we will come back to this. So this is a quote by Tolkien. The road goes ever on, down from the door where it began. Now far ahead the road has gone, and I must follow if I can, pursuing it with eager feet until it joins some larger way where many paths and errands meet. And whither then, I cannot say. And this is a very appropriate beginning to the Fool's Journey. Jung says the soul demands your folly, not your wisdom, pointing to the fact that it is in that foolishness that we ask the question. So some Tarot elements here. The Tarot structure and content is a symbolic depiction that is a reflection of the universal and the personal experience. What's interesting here is that it originates from an oral and pictorial tradition. Just as the language of the dream is a language of image and symbol and metaphor, we find, because the Tarot is a symbol system of images, our psyche then is able to work with it in a much more direct way than we do with words. I've been working with the images now for several days intensely, and I find that when I do that, you may notice I'm kind of grasping for words until I until I shift gears into it. So the divination is a prayer for guidance to the gods. And the 78 cards, which is a full tarot deck, includes the Minor Arcana, which corresponds to air, fire, earth, and water, and also to Jung's 4 personality types. So there are the 78 cards and the Major Arcana of 56. And we would use the entire deck if we're looking into information, inviting or entreating the gods to speak to us. But in this case, we're using the Major Arcana, of which there are 22 cards, and they depict the paths that the soul takes towards wholeness, or what Jung called individuation. And the Major Arcana functions by itself as a meditative and a reflective tool, and it allows the psyche to function as a bridge. And the psyche is a bridge between spirit and matter, between the collective world and the personal world. So this is a quote by Jung. If one wants to form a picture of the symbolic process, the series of pictures found in alchemy, which we'll be talking about as we move forward, also seems as if the set of pictures in the tarot cards were distantly descended from the archetypes of transformation. The symbolic process is an experience in images and of images, as we were just saying. Its development usually shows in an antiodromia structure, like the text of the I Ching, and so presents a rhythm of negative and positive, loss and gain, dark and light. So we're moving back and forth between the two. And the enantiodromia, as Jung speaks of it, is the definition of it when we have gone on the path as far to one extreme of dark or light, for example, as you can possibly go, nature will begin to swing it back in the other direction. And so the enantiodromia shows the path, which is a spiral path moving back and forth. So what is the tarot? Is it a journey of self-discovery and understanding that leads to wisdom? Is it where the collective meets the personal? The tarot's meaning and purpose in the 21st century, which is something I'd like to talk about right here for a moment, because I think it's relevant. We live in a time of polarities, of quickening, of enormous transition, and a word which denotes betwixt and between, change, metamorphosis. All of these are experiences that we encounter now on a daily basis through what's going on our planet and moment to moment changes. We are caught right now between the past and the future, and the present is so destabilizing and terrifying to so many of us that we don't know who we are. And if we have not looked inside, we don't know what we are becoming. We are all becoming, however. Our minds are reorganizing themselves into new patterns as we live with technology and interact with it. And technology, as the internet, is indeed an alchemical thing, made of idea, electrical impulse. It is fluid, and it is matter. It is air, and it is fire. And it's about transformation.